Alrighty, happy Monday. Welcome to the first but maybe one of many videos. Never tried this before, not much for recording. I don't even like Teams, I'll be honest, but I find myself jobless for the first time in almost a decade here in my mid to late 30s. And with a great deal of time on my hands, and looking at the job market, honestly, discouraging. Really, really discouraging. Entry level does not seem to mean what it used to mean. Used to mean I've never done anything, I don't know how to do anything, hire me. And now it seems like entry level is more just below intern, maybe just above, whatever. Anyway, so depressing as the job market is, we are going to take a look and see what kind of depressing underpaid nonsense is out there. So right now I'm in Phoenix, so we are looking here at what kind of unfortunate options are available. Alrighty. So this is all literally entry level. So apparently entry level at this point, let me hit apply again. Technical consultant, project manager. This is not in-home sales representative, 74 to 149. So you will get paid nothing unless you can get people to let you into their house, which is creepy. We're actually going to sort to last month. Okay, so that went about how we expected. Let's go by date. I'm not 100% on how this particular website works. Alrighty. So it's entry level, but you need a year of experience. And at Moss Adams, we want talented individuals. Preferably that have a bachelor's degree or equivalent experience in business accounting and finance. CRCM certified. And it looks like this one actually pays pretty well. But like this is not entry level. And they have a load of positions open on here, which is also a little bit concerning, because at some point I'd like to think it's a glitch, but this has been posted and reposted and reposted ad nauseum. What is this? Chico's sales lead at Soma. $12 an hour in retail. I guess I don't know what standard is for retail. We can always look though. Competitive wage for retail in Arizona. 15 to 20, so that's not even competitive here in Arizona. Also, you have to be 18 with at least a year of retailer sales management experience preferred. And yeah. See, that's the thing. You want to pay somebody $13 an hour and call it supporting management, but you want management experience. And I just, honest to God, why? And what is a wax specialist for 5 to 7? Oh, okay, $11 an hour starting, probationary. And Okay, diploma aesthetics license, appreciable. But still, $11 to $15 an hour, and you want somebody to be certified. And you're offering full and part-time. Competitive commission program, cool story, generous tips, no benefits, but it's full-time. So there's that. So let's even try Indeed, because Indeed is, well, yeah. We're gonna edit some of that. And let's see. Hydraulics customer service representative. Because I don't want to do any of that. I hate call centers. That was where I just spent the last almost 7 freaking years. It was in a call center. And you know what? I hated it. Especially those last 3 years. That was some soul-sucking bullshit. You know, and it's nice to be appreciated when you're good at stuff and you know what you're doing. But when it gets to a point where somebody asks if you know how to do something, and your first response is just, why? Who's asking? You know what? Doesn't matter who's asking. I don't know how to do nothing. Matter of fact, I did not even show up today if anybody is looking for me. Because it just turned into a dumping ground of nonsense. It used to be nice to be recognized for knowing how to solve complex problems and handle whatever issue is thrown at you, but when it gets to a point of a dumping ground, like, just overworked and underpaid, which I feel like is everybody's vibe. Yeah, let's go with job type, no degree. No experience needed. Apex focus groups make $750 a week typing from home. 75 to 150 per hour long sessions, depending on project type. You'll help brands understand consumer behavior. 'Cause this honestly kind of sounds. Trying out new products. Interested in how product work and marketing campaigns are shaped. See, that kind of thing just, you know, you can't trust that kind of nonsense. See, job reviews mixed with scam warnings. So yeah, emails, difficulty qualifying, unclear payment process. It is not a BBB accredited business. Be wary of high income, $750 a week. So yeah, that seems too good to be true. It is. Entry level computer help desk specialist. Part works with IT, interact with your system and computers across the company, help train users on basic system and computer functions. Okay, forgot. I paused recording, scrolling through, what was I just, oh yeah, the real. You know, and it looks, some of these look like fun. 18 days paid time off, you know, starts accruing first day. Got all kind of benefits and what have you, and I think we all know what the real does. The problem is, from actual employees, that's not what I wanted. Absolutely miserable ratings. And obviously everybody's going to be upset with, you know, whatever employer they have. Nobody's 100% happy anywhere. I mean, unless they're a crook. Government seems to pretty happy with itself most of the time. You know, at the 3670, that is garbage. Microsoft Awesome Office software, but I'm not willing to be miserable for the sake of benefits and dreading going to work every day. I'm just not here for it. Administrative Assistant 1, I don't know what that is. It does show here, entry level, incoming calls, filing, organizing records, creating file folders, labels, blah 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 blah. Phone system detailed work. You know, and that's the thing, is it's the Attorney General's office. So, like, I assume their benefits are really good. They do have a retirement plan, which is great, sick leave, whatever, but 36.7. That isn't shit, especially in Arizona. And for a government office, like, that's working for the state of Arizona. That is a shockingly low ball. So unless their benefits package, you know, dental, health, vision, whatever it is, and I'm sure a lot of people could probably infer just from looking at this one, basically. It's state of Arizona, and it's only 36.7 for the Attorney General's office, comprehensive benefits, blah 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 blah. Like, those benefits better have absolutely no copays, because 36.7 is crap. Grade 13, I have no idea what the hell that is supposed to mean. But this is also Attorney General's Office, Child and Family Protection Division, Child Support Services section. So not only is this a really poorly paid job, it is going to be a horrible one, because that is borderline social services and the foster system and all that stuff. And that is one of the hardest jobs emotionally and mentally in existence. And I don't really care what part of it you're in. You're gonna see things and be aware of things that absolutely wreck you. So I guess unless you are really good at compartmentalizing, probably not the job for you. Or if you have a roommate or two to help you pay for all of the other bills, because that ain't it. Anyway, about Amazon, it's a packer. Anytime, relax with a few rules to follow for safety. Closed-toed shoes are required. Protective safety footwear also required. It's like business units up to 17. Because, like, don't get me wrong, that's like, you know, your packing orders, equipment training certifications provided for your costs, team shares, safety tips daily. And let's drop that down a little bit. You have to be 18, obviously. Presumably you're working a forklift. Sometimes at least. Anytime pay. So don't get me wrong, Amazon is, in fact, from what I've heard from former employees, a hell of a place to work. The problem is we start leaning into areas of ethical accessibility. Nobody really wants to work for Amazon. You know, it's once again just making money for the top 1% of people for $17 an hour. You know, they say boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why shit on company time. Boss makes $1, you make a percentage of a cent, perhaps, in comparison. Customer service lot attendant full time. Let's see. Oh, dental health, blah blah blah. Required to use protective clothing or gear such as masks, goggles, gloves, or shields. What shields? fill propane, certification offered through U-Haul, drive a forklift, driver's license, maintain good driving record, high school diploma. Oh, living around parts, machines, fumes, dirt, and chemicals. Okay. 2 hands-on working and interviews and get paid for each. Okay, interesting. Mindset app reimbursement. I assume that's probably like better health. And yeah, you've now mentioned your hiring bonus twice now. Okay, so you copied and pasted it and you didn't even pay attention. That's fine. When the people posting the jobs can't even post it right, it is a little bit concerning. So shuffle. Like, a lot of this was already on here, but again, it kind of says a lot about the company when the people posting the listings don't even seem to know how to do it, but what do I know? I'm not in recruiting. I've never been in recruiting. Apparently they have low standards. Right, let's see. Courier Force Norquest. Driver's license, check 18. Check ability to understand and follow the instructions. Depends on the instructions. How many are you giving me? Anyway, courier. With absolutely no information, courier is responsible for picking up transport specimen reports and supplies and following a designated route. So yeah, that is going to 100% be gig work. You are not getting paid shit. No degree, mortgage loan officer. Sales experience not required. Sales aptitude does appear to be, though. Dedicated to learning, communication skills, empathy. Empathy is wild. I don't believe in empathy. I don't practice empathy. Empathy is a fast track to burnout. Compassion for sure, but not empathy. So let's see. No degree mentioned. However, you want a mortgage loan officer, so the assumption here is it doesn't say there's a degree required, but like, unless they're going to help you get the qualifications and certifications needed to be a mortgage loan officer, you know, that's a whole other thing. USAA, I have heard really good things about them from a lot of people. And flexible work environment requires an individual to be in the office 4 days per week. I don't know what the hell AML is. Bank-related legal regulatory requirements, nope. Currently pursuing or completed ACAM certification, I have no idea what that is. 9:30 to 6, Phoenix time, so not terrible hours. Well, anyway. And it's important not to focus on the things that you don't know how to do, because, you know, most of the jobs, like, you will be trained on stuff, but if they're putting in requirements in there and you're like, I've heard of that, I don't know what the fuck that is, it's probably not something that you are going to be able to do. Like, I'm aware of what SQL is, vaguely. I have no idea how to do it. Store manager candidate in Phoenix. Dollar General. I don't know how to manage my own life. Safe and Stars program. I have no management experience. I just like clicking on some of this nonsense here. $18 to $35 an hour to work. Okay, as a maintenance tech at Wendy's. Electrical and plumbing methods. I mean, I can probably do that. I can sweat pipe. It's not that hard. They're probably like proof of my overall abilities. Oh, well, their mouth shut. That's fine. Okay, servers at the Olive Garden. What are they making now? And I'll be honest, I'm not above food service. No one is. Also, everybody should either work food service or customer service or both at some point in their life. I had to do concessions at my first official job at a movie theater 20-ish years ago. And yeah, no, everybody should do it. And if you are rude to service people, I hope karma runs you over with a steamroller, literally and figuratively. Okay, so paid sick leave, 1 hour for every 30 hours work, begin accruing upon hire. That is not that is a very slow accrual. But paid family medical leave up to 2 years. That's just FMLA, you're hired. Discounts, offline travel, electronics, and much more. I think I know what program that is. We had something similar with my last employer. Free employee meal. So that should be a given. If you work in food service and your employer is not comping at least one actual meal, that is a terrible place to work. Because holy crap. With the amount of food these places throw out, they can 100% afford to comp people's meals. Oh, I didn't know they had 401ks. That's cool. Management career advancement opportunities. 50% of our managers are promoted from hourly positions because nobody else wants them. Our winning family, family's always a red flag. Weekly pay, anniversary pay, that's kind of cool. I've never gotten little bonuses and goodies and whatever for anniversaries, but you know. Outside sales for real estate. Solid experience in sales or customer service, confident communication, follow-up skills. Now, I am fantastic on the phones. The problem is when it comes to sales, the second you say no, I'm not interested. Roger Dodger. Have a nice day. I don't care. I'm not here to refute your lack of interest. I genuinely don't care. Buy it, don't buy it. Whatever. Job description, cocktail server at the Van Buren. I should know what the Van Buren is. Okay, Live Nation, that makes sense. Who are you? Passionate and motivated? Nope. Driven with an entrepreneurial spirit? No. Resourceful, innovative, forward-thinking, and committed. Yes, 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 and should be committed. But here we are. And his big guest needs. I think I would be a fantastic concierge. The problem is, this is exactly that. It's a cocktail waitress. Oh, it's House of Blues. Okay. That's cool. Recognize when guests are becoming too intoxicated and refuse to cut people off. Yeah. Bring it to the attention of management. Comp and void checks are processed. Da 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 da. Ability to work late hours. My dude, after 10 o'clock. No. That's a nice thought. Once upon a time. Not now. Let's see. Maintenance event staff. Okay. Downside of this. Event staff, if it ties into entertainment. Entertainment crew does not get overtime. And event staff also, I think, kind of fall into that, not 100%, but the fact is that you work for Phoenix Raceway, so it's kind of like gig work where you are there for the event, so it's not a set schedule. You're just there till it's done. And also, NASCAR is actually hiring. The problem with NASCAR is, according to their reviews, even the people that are in higher up, like just below like C-suite level, think that they should be paying their lower level people more, which is super discouraging. Bank of America inbound call center, client experience, branding, issue management problems. You know, I feel like I'm gonna end up in a call center again. I don't want to. I swear to God, if I'm muted again, though. I'm not. Excellent. Minimum of at least intermediate level proficiency with computers. Yeah, no, for sure. I'm fine on that. Passion, commitment, drive to deliver. I literally do not give two shits about these people anymore. You know, and they say the customer's always right, but like, customer's always right in matters of taste. If there's a process, there's a policy. That is what needs to be observed. I don't care about your feelings, fuck your feelings. I don't want to make exceptions in this idea of, well, it's important to empathize. I'm sorry, I don't know why you didn't expect to be billed for something that you've always been billed for. Is what it is. General knowledge of tree shrubs, flowers. Driver's license, I've had a couple accidents, so probably not that. So hear me out, maybe we just don't make me do that. Masonry and tile experience preferred. Okay, I kinda get that. I have neither of those things, though. But again, I don't care if you have a diploma, but you need to have 5 years of landscaping, masonry, and tile experience. Able to tolerate extreme weather conditions. I mean, that's all of Arizona most of the year. Behaves ethically. Just call me turpitude. Neat, organized workspace, maintaining important documents pertinent to job. Neat, organized. Dude, it's outside. Y'all better be paying a hospice nurse as well. Holy shit. Swear to God, all the stuff they make nurses do. No degree mentioned, but like it literally says CNA, PRN. Like, come on. Bus driver. Phoenix Union High School District 210. I don't know where that is. I don't think I care. Let me guess. Oh, I mean, you just get fingerprint and CPR certified ain't hard. Operating bus or equivalent completion of PXU's bus driver training program. I'm sure I could do that. Class B license. Interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and say that along with that, probably want a better driving record than I have. Sterile again, you don't need a degree. Sort of. That's not a degree, but it is a license. You know, this one I kind of liked. I just don't know where the hell this is. And it says it's for a healthcare provider, which, like, cool story. But, telling me that you work with someone and then not telling me anything else, like I'm in Arizona, so it's probably not Kaiser Permanente because that's a California company, but still, like, literally do all of that. It's not even the first time. Self-directed, work independently, conflict resolution skills, do what you're told. We won't have conflict. Read, understand oral and written instructions. Pause. No experience, no qualifications, even though there's like a list of stuff. Okay, so that's literally just Ledger Ponies here. So I'm pretty sure Arizona Professionals Group. Yeah, that wasn't depressing enough. If I didn't know better. Yeah, it's a staffing agency. Which, you know, no shame in that. Entry level remote position. Billing specialist, so like that's Medicare, Medi-Cal, so it's entirely possible that that may have to do with Kaiser. Computer support assistant, well-known healthcare company, which, is that the one that I looked at? I think so. Anytime it has to do with healthcare, especially since I'm not seeing, realistically, none of these have any pay info listed. And that alone is kind of a red flag. Like, especially when they're not even saying, oh, it's competitive, call taker. Now, this one, I believe I looked at before, and the thing is, like, don't get me wrong, it's a pretty good rate of pay, no degree mentioned. The problem is, it says call taker, and the bottom line is here. You know, they make it sound here, dispatcher call taking experience. You know, this is speaking, hearing, seeing, reading. You know, that sounds super, super basic. Accesses various programs, which I assume they train you on for whatever. Now, the problem is that this differs from the emergency dispatcher in that the call taker receives the call while the dispatcher dispatches the calls to the field unit. So basically you are 911. If I'm applying to be a emergency operator, tell me that. Because it does say it takes emergency and non-emergency phone calls, performing specialized work, receiving and relaying messages in law enforcement comm center. Now, they kind of covered that further down, but that right there, like, I don't want to work for 911. I'm not working for 911. That is not something I'm ever going to be interested in. But putting call taker on there, no, that is not the business. That is nonsense. That is bullshit. And again, no degree mentioned, like medical director. Pretty sure that requires a degree. Telecommunications supply spec. Component related, so like I got some of that, but I don't got none of that. 46 to 59. Unpaid holidays, of course, because it's the state. Bus card subsidized, blah, 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 blah. Planning, organizing, coordinating, accounting for the inventory of telecommunication system parts, equipment, and supply purchases to ensure proper stock levels for the wireless system bureau's repair and maintenance. This is a warehouse position. This is inventory. Other duties as assigned. Required to work and drive in inclement weather. Lift and move whatever materials up to 85 pounds. Cool story. Yeah. 3 years telecommunication systems. Yeah, that's that is for sure. Warehouse and inventory. Weekend jobs. No paperwork or signatures. Okay. Now, drive appointments, meetings, and church. Seniors go shopping. Go to lunch or grab an ice cream with your client. Restore dignity. Keep healthy. Incontinence care management. Keep your client beautiful. Assisting bathing and grooming. So that is, I do need to see some actual requirements here, because there's a difference between adult care and assistance. And then when it starts getting into like grooming, okay, having somebody comb their hair, do their little roll set, whatever, that's fine. But when we start talking about bathing, that's, there's people that are specifically trained to do that. And while certain adult care assistance things, yeah, anybody can do that. As long as you can drive and just be reasonably personable, that's fine. But this is just desire to work with senior, 4 to 12-hour shifts in the area, background check, drug test, negative TB test, car, auto, license, no paperwork or signatures. And that, when you start getting into certain areas, responsibilities, yeah, because like this is fine up to restore dignity. Bathing and grooming, that bathing specifically borders on skilled care. Housekeeping, reduce stress at home, it's whatever, you're just there to kind of be a companion. Meal prep, again, that's an in-home aid kind of thing. Avoid hospital readmissions with medication reminders the second it starts touching on medication. Memory care safety. Assist with physical therapy exercises. Eyes and ears for hospice care. Report changes in conditions. See, that's where, the average person that you're saying you don't really need any kind of experience with this is not qualified, is I'm not willing to be responsible for doling out your medications other than your pill box says it's Tuesday and there are no pills in for Tuesday. So I'm going to assume you already took your pills for Tuesday. And if you don't remember, I'm not giving you more of anything because I am not actually willing to be liable for that. Now, memory care, people with memory issues. If you are not familiar, if you don't know, sundowning and transitional spaces like doorways can set off a myriad of issues, none of which are people who are not skilled care providers are qualified to assess or manage. Assisting with physical therapy, I'm not a kinesiologist. Eyes and ears for hospice care, like, do I look like I'm hospice care or able to give hospice a qualified evaluation? Like changes in condition, like what? She got older. They seem less well today than they did yesterday. Just, it's a very weird, things like that. And just companies like that in general, you kind of need to look out for, because they will be the first ones to roll you under the bus if something goes sideways. Because I guarantee this kind of stuff will not be on the job application, or if they give you like an SOP, it's going to be real vague about the client's needs and just kind of real general stuff. So when it comes down to certain things, the more general they can make it on their SOPs, the less liable they are, the more liable you are. Because like I have worked in a capacity as, some housekeeping for a gentleman who did have some memory issues, and it was really disheartening to see him go downhill. But after working for him for like 2 years, like, I have no medical qualifications, certainly not in any kind of home care or memory care or like skilled care. But after working for him for several years, it got to a point he did not actually know who I was in relation to him. I think he assumed that I was either one of his grandkids or the spouse of one of his grandkids. And, he was supposed to, like, I really didn't have to do a whole lot. Very, very together, tidy gentleman. A lot of just cleaning the bathroom, making sure the sheets got washed, doing some dishes, countertops, whatever. He'd get his social security and he'd get a change for cash, and he'd hand me a handful of cash and be like, well, take what you need. And it's like, you already paid me last week for the month. We're not going to worry about it. It's okay. But, there's a level of skill and training that needs to be provided to people in that position, and your desire to help and be of assistance is not enough. And a lot of people find that out when they have to care for a family member who is in need of that kind of care. Moving right along. Special investigation supervisors, but no degree mentioned. Interesting. That would be cool, though. Are you serious? 35? What? Office of Inspector General Supervisors perform statewide and national, at times international investigations, highly complex nature, blah blah blah. Okay, 35 an hour. Okay. No, that can't be right, because that says an hour, 35. Did they really just break it down? Y'all didn't even try. Like, you threw it in a calculator. Lovely. Gonna put this on a different screen here. So, 35, 2388 times, it's like 40 hours. 40 hours a week? The average? So that's 1409 and change. We're going to times that by 52 weeks a year. So that actually comes out to, assuming that you're only working 40-hour weeks, 52 weeks a year, 73 and change. In-flight services, Core Alaska Airlines. Passionate customer service oriented. No, not anymore. And I think that's kind of where I'm at with a lot of this, is I used to really enjoy helping people, and I have hit a point where I don't care. While you're having a rough time, I swear to God, the number of people who try to pull that, I'm disabled. Like, you and everybody else. Billing representative, business administrative wear. Airport restaurant manager. Caregiver, oh my God. Okay, caregiver, freeway group home, part-time. Now, group homes are, they can be wonderful places if they're properly regulated. You need a high school diploma, valid driver's license, access to registered vehicle with proof of insurance, communication adaptability, multitasking, teamwork, blah, 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 blah. Compassionate patient. See, I prefer that. Compassionate, yes. Empathetic, no. You'll work alongside a dedicated team of clinical staff, supportive supervisors while you grow your career. I bet they're one big happy family, too. $14.35 an hour as a caregiver is not enough for anyone. I mean, granted, it's part-time. But develop real, meaningful relationships with individuals you serve. See, that right there, I don't want to do that. I don't want to develop a real or meaningful relationship with anybody who is not family or an actual friend. And that's the thing, whether it any kind of behavioral services, you can't get involved like that. It's one thing to do your job, but at the end of the day, you do need to kind of compartmentalize and realize that this is a job. You are a client, I am the worker. We don't have a relationship. That's it. That is the relationship. Client, worker, employee, whatever. You know, it's one thing to be kind and be nice, support patients with development goals like budgeting, exercise, and nutrition, assist people with their personal hygiene, support individuals who can have behavioral challenges and other complex needs. Every person deserves a fulfilling career. No, they don't. Sorry. So it's part-time. It's like $14 an hour. You need to have 6 months of experience in human services, direct care, care coordination preferred. And, you know, and I'll be honest, like the reviews for anything to do with caregiving, honestly. I would say caregiving, skilled care, social services, foster care, anything to do with kids, outside of potentially even just daycare, you know, which childcare is its own. Ugh. But you're gonna see low ratings, because it's not that it's necessarily a bad place to work, it's a bad line of work. It is emotionally and psychologically destroying, so, you know, just do what you can with that, I suppose, and go from there. But I am sick and tired of looking at this garbage for today. I'm sure I have something productive I could be doing. This doesn't feel like it. Alrighty, y'all have a wonderful day, and we will return to the ganglion gridlock another time. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, and remember to close the toilet lid when you flush. It's important.